Hey folks, Curb here. So the other day I put out a little message on the Tome Facebook page about how I was going to do a little Q&A, and usually I do these by just typing it out on my Tumblr, but I thought, why not answer them in full audio format? So here I am. I've picked out about 10 questions sent to you lovely folks over Tumblr, and this is the first time I'm doing an audio one, so for those of you who haven't seen some of the Q&As in the past, or haven't been to some of the panels at conventions and things that I've done, and you have some general questions about like how Tome started or where some of the characters come from and how to come up with the idea for it, I would recommend first of all going to my SoundCloud site where you can hear the commentaries in the first 4 episodes. So if you just go to soundcloud.com/Chris-Niosi, I'll have a link here. You can hear the first 4 episodes of Tome. They're individual audio commentaries by myself and some of the folks behind the show. And that'll probably answer some of the most common, frequently asked questions, I should say. So otherwise, we're going to get right into it. So here's our 10 questions. Number 1, 7C Bass asked, are you ever going to put the rest of the Tome soundtrack up for sales besides the main theme? I've been getting this question a lot, and I don't blame you because Cadgett's music is amazing, and I love it. I'm a big fan of it, and it's in my own damn show. We are planning on doing a BGM soundtrack at some point in time. We're still kind of figuring out exactly how we want to go about it. If we, we'll be putting it out before the show is over, or maybe, when the final episode is done. Because there's still a few tracks that I haven't used yet, and I would rather put out a complete soundtrack as opposed to, oh wait, there's a couple extra ones. So that's why I've been kind of holding off on it. But in the meantime, we've been having a lot of insert songs, episode specific songs. Like we just had the Nylocke theme, and we might even be putting up the orchestral version of Battle On the Tome Bandcamp page, which you can go to tomeseries.bandcamp.com, where you can download Battle On and Nylocke's theme song and some other stuff that we're going to be releasing for the upcoming episodes, which I won't spoil. But we will eventually be doing a BGM soundtrack, so look out for that. But I don't know 100% for sure what's going to happen with it, so just bear with me until then. Number 2, Ask British Mew inquires, when you have scripts for Tome and other such projects, do you find yourself making plot points and then having trouble linking them together, or does it all flow easily for you when you think of the scripts? Well, I did mention on the commentaries, and we'll mention again here, that when I started the show, before I started doing any animation, I wrote 8 episode scripts. And since then have gone back to refine a lot of them, certain ones more than others. But I would say that before I went into doing the show at all, I had a pretty clear idea of what I wanted to do with the overall arc of the story, the development of all the main characters and, what I wanted to do with them individually. But in terms of the individual episodes and some of the things that would happen, some of it would be on the fly, not extremely on the fly. They would be, when I get up to producing the episode, I would, make a couple refinements right then and there that I maybe hadn't planned out ahead of time. But, what's nice about this show is that I can get immediate feedback from people about, certain things, and I can keep some of that stuff in mind before I'm about to go in and do a new episode. So in that way, it's a little advantageous because I can, make little changes and adjustments based on that. But overall, the story of Tome that I have plotted out in my head so far is fairly constructed to a point that I think to where I know what's going to happen, from the beginning, middle, and end, basically. So, and also, I often get, kind of spinning off from this question, I often get asked if this is going to follow the story of the original TV Tome adventures. I'm not going to answer that because if I say yes or no, I might be spoiling something. So you'll just have to keep watching the show to find out and make that judgment for yourself as to whether or not I'm following the plot of the original series or not. But keep in mind, episode 6 didn't quite have a straight equivalent to the original series. So take that for what you will. Number 3, Duke Mage of Heart asked, do you have any specific process for designing your characters? What personalities have you wanted to add but couldn't work into the story? Well, for Tome it was pretty easy because again, before I started doing the show at all, I was at Comic-Con in San Diego once, a long time ago, and I just kind of felt like, hey, I want to redesign all these characters from this old TTA thing that I worked on many years ago, and since the designs were already, in place, what I, got to do from there is just go back and refine them and make them more original, make them more my own, with the skills that I had developed in the year since I started the original TTA. And then when I started developing the concept for Tome, I was like, okay, well, now I have these designs, and I think that they work pretty okay. So that wasn't too difficult at all. For Tome specifically, I'm talking here. And also in terms of what personalities have I wanted to add but couldn't work into the story. So far I've been pretty okay with the way the characters' personalities have been in the episodes and all the characters that I've introduced thus far. There's a few characters that I'm not entirely sure if I'll get to use in the show in the way that I wanted to, when I first started. But, we'll see what happens. I think that the characters that I have thus far and are going to be appearing in the next couple episodes, I'm pretty satisfied with, and I hope you guys will be too. Number 4. George the Pony asked, who's your favorite out of all the Tome characters, excluding Kerbifer? Well, I have many favorites for many different reasons. I would say the funnest to write for would be Nylocke, Raccoon, and even though I'm cheating, Curb. The funnest to draw, on the other hand, I would say are Game Crazed because he's relatively simple to draw. Alpha's pretty fun as well. One of the new characters that'll be showing up in the next episode I'm finding a lot of fun to draw, but I won't spoil who that one is. And then there's also the characters to record, and I love all my actors, but I think some of the funnest have been Nylocke and Raccoon. So I guess Curb, Nylocke, and Raccoon are my 3 overall favorites. I also like Zeto. Maybe that's kind of a predictable answer. But, I love all my babies. They're all great. I can't pick just one, even though I've already chosen 3, but you get it. Number 5. Sane Intolerant asked, behind the scenes, how fleshed out are the main characters' offline lives? We've had glimpses and hints to certain things, but I'm curious how deep the proverbial rabbit hole goes. Well, Gage, I'm glad you asked. We've been teasing a little bit of the real-life stuff for Nylocke and a tiny bit of Curb. The next episode will be, doing that even more with some of the other main characters, and you can probably guess which ones those are. I think that, for the time being, I'm trying to leave it a little ambiguous. I like for some stuff to be left up to the imagination of people, but I think that the next episode you'll definitely get a nice taste of, what is affecting some of the other characters in their outside lives and, how it affects them when they're, just here to have fun and play this game and everything. I found it a very interesting concept, but I also tried to keep it intentionally a bit vague, like many things about the show, because I do like people to kind of have their own interpretation of stuff. So, number 6. Tito's Jams asked, what advice could you give to a director when directing voice talent? How should you communicate how you want a line read, or what you think the character should sound like? I've only ever heard not to lead them into, no, read it like this. Well, that's a good question. I've had a lot of experience with directing actors. I've worked with a really, really big number of them, since Parody Rangers. I started directing a lot of my actors. Some of them I will leave to record on their own if I know they can handle it, but 9 times out of 10 I'll end up directing them, usually over Skype or something. I've picked up a lot of tricks. Most recently, I've learned a lot of things from Devin Mack, the voice of Raccoon, who is a voice director and a casting director himself and is far better at it than I am. And oftentimes I'll call on him for help if I really feel I need it. But something he often taught me is when you're trying to get an emotion out of an actor for a certain line, and they're not quite getting it after the first couple takes, unless it's something very, very, very specific that needs to be a certain way in the animation, I try not to give line readings, which is when you just perform the line yourself, as the person was asking. What I typically try to do is say, the line needs to be really emotional and really, really, just gut-wrenchingly like that. I'll say it like that in the delivery that I'm looking for, but I won't literally say the line. Sometimes I might say a couple words at the most just to get them going on it, but I won't perform the entire line for them. I find that that's really effective, and I've been using that trick a lot lately, and it seems to be doing pretty okay. I've been told in the recent years since I started on Tome that I've been getting to be better at voice direction, so and considering I'll be doing that for Cry More, here's hoping that that's not a load of bullcrap. Number 7, Gazzy Inferno asked, you've put a lot of time into preparation for Tome, and it really shows. Thanks. By the whole standardized chat movements and character art and such, but what's been the most irritating thing / content you had to create from scratch for an episode? I wouldn't say there's a most irritating or annoying part of it. There's some stuff that's tedious. The most tedious thing, flat out, is doing lip sync. And I mean like the actual fully animated lip sync, not the, looping mouths that the talking avatars will have. The talking avatars can take a while, but thankfully there's only ever like, one's like 3 to 5 for each character or anything. So it's never that big of a deal. But most of the time, building the assets and stuff for the new characters that appear in each episode is really fun. So I wouldn't say there's a most tedious part or a most annoying part or anything. Number 8. Banana Dumbledore asked, which character was the hardest to rework from the original TV Tome adventures? The hardest and easiest character at the same time, refining from TV Tome adventures to Tome is Flame Girl. It was easy to make her a better character, considering the way she was in the original series was really, really badly written. But even in the new show, I'm still sometimes a little dissatisfied with exactly what direction I went with her. There's so many things I would have changed already in the first couple episodes, and certain things that I wish I should have thought of that. But overall, I think I'm okay with her. In the next episode, I'm really, really hoping that maybe people that weren't so much interested in her, or even just flat out thought that she was a bad character, will change their tune a bit. Because after all, episode 6 definitely changed a few people's tunes about Nylocke, and I'm hoping that it'll do the same for her. So I won't spoil too much, but definitely keep an eye on episode 7, and hopefully even my own opinion will have been changed. We'll see what happens. Number 9. Sparking Timepiece asked, I was a huge fan of the original TV Tome adventures, and love seeing what you change and keep with the story of Tome. I was wondering how you decide what to keep and what to change, and what to flat out drop altogether. Well, I mentioned this a little earlier, and again, without quite spoiling whether I'm, entirely following the original story arc of TTA or not. Like for instance, the first episode, I decided when I was doing this series that I would start off with just having all the characters in a group together, instead of just introducing each of them individually and then having them all kind of get together, or, having most of them be friends already and then Alpha's introduced and he's brought into the group. I thought it would be better if maybe they were just established from the ground up, and you would just, kind of be thrown into this world, and you'd easily be able to figure out, what each of their roles are in the group, and what they do and what their motivations are. And even then, I think there's still a couple things that I would have changed and done differently in that first episode. But that's a good example of I wanted to have a little bit more of an interesting story. In the original series, it took 3 or 4 episodes before anything really happened. And in this case, I wanted to kind of combine all that material into one thing, and have it be a strong startup. And then for instance, episode 2, took bits and pieces of elements of when Astarob showed up, and Splat coming in and stuff like that. So it really depends. But then in that case, Game Craze was the focus on it. Instead, I had him be more mysterious, and Nylocke and Curb are following him. So I find whatever just works better, for an interesting story point. Because when I was doing the original TTA, I was really just kind of getting my feet wet and didn't quite know what I was doing. Feeling out what works and what didn't. And now that I have a better idea of what works in general, now it can better lead me into, okay, what can I take, what elements can I take from the original TTA and sort of incorporate and pay tribute to with these episode scripts for Tome. So, and our 10th and final question is one that's been collectively asked by a lot of different people, and it's basically, how can I be in Tome? Well, my answer is a question to you guys, and in fact I have a couple questions for you guys, but I'll start off with this one. So when we did the auction event for episode 6 with the Nylocke music video cameos and all that, I honestly didn't really expect them to do that well, and they far exceeded my expectations. Now, people have been asking about, can I, do the thing where I donate $11 and then I get a background character made for me? I was doing that when the show first started. And I have a pretty decent amount of background characters built up by this point, so I don't need a ton of those anymore. But, the cameo event where, because a lot of people have been asking, can I have a character that, gets to actually do something? Now, while I have the full story already plotted out, and I wouldn't be able to add any, additional characters from fans or anything that would have, major influence on the plot or anything, I do want to give something back to the fans, and since people did really seem to enjoy the cameo event that we had for episode 6, I'm thinking about doing that again, maybe with a higher incentive, like, maybe you'd get to, appear during a certain part, or maybe you'd even get a speaking line, and, if you had a decent microphone, you could do it yourself, or I could, just get a voice actor for you or something, just something a little more in depth than just being background fodder. If you guys are interested in that, please, in the comments or on the Facebook page, let me know, and, I'll do that, because, the thing is, I also don't want to, like, come off like I'm just money grubbing about this, because, like I said, the Cameo event went way better than I expected in terms of the amount of money that I made off of the individual cameos, and I don't want to feel like I'm just, because I did that purely out of just, like, hey, this might be cool, and I didn't know that I was going to make that much money, so I don't want to come off like, oh, this worked, I can make money if I do this. I would rather it genuinely be something that you guys want to do. And if it's not, then I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to just, like, give me all your money or whatever, just to, have a line or two in the show. But if it's something that you guys want, let me know, and, maybe we can work something out. Maybe we'll have a little dialogue about it, and, we'll have another event for a future episode, or maybe even the next episode. Who knows? So let me know about that. Another question that I have for the rest of you guys, and again, all this stuff, let me know in the comments, and, post stuff on the Facebook page, in the comments section or whatever for this video. I've also been getting a lot of requests about, hey, are you going to be at this convention? Can you come to this convention? What would it take to get you to go to this convention or this, festival, or can you come to my city or whatever? Listen, if you want me to come to a convention, or anybody from the Tome crew to come to your conventions and do, panels or screenings or, exclusive stuff or whatever, just basically talk to your con staff. There's usually like a form you can fill out, or a forum thread where you can suggest guests and stuff like that. If, enough people suggested me to be invited, then they can all just contact me. Or if, maybe you are con staff and you would like me to come to your event, just contact me at kerberfer@gmail.com, and, we can talk about it. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of requests for that lately. I've really enjoyed doing, these like public appearances and panels and stuff, not like, oh, I'm a superstar for my stupid Flash cartoon or whatever, but it's just cool to, get to show these on the big screen to people and see everyone's like, real life, reaction to the stories and everything, and, meeting fans and answering their questions in person. It's a great experience, and I love doing it. And I can attest a lot of the other crew members who have gotten the chance to go to conventions and do stuff like that. I love doing that too. So, yeah, again, contact your con staff, make suggestions, and maybe we can work that out, That's about all for now, but I might be doing stuff more like this in the future. So, keep it tuned, and I hope I answered all of your questions in a relatively decent way, and I'll catch you guys later. Episode 7 is in the works. I've got a couple scenes done already, and hoping to get it out within the next couple months. So, yeah, I appreciate it, guys, and have a great day.